Star Wars secretly introduced Baby Yoda 22 years ago. And nobody noticed it. The first Baby Yoda in Star Wars actually appeared at the Jedi Temple. In a 2002 story you've probably never heard of, 17 years before The Mandalorian. Story by Daniel Tenaglia, on-screen rant. A Baby Yoda was first introduced in a Star Wars comic 22 years ago, in a story named Children of the Force. The nursery in Children of the Force could connect to Grogu's backstory from The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, despite not being canon. The legacy of Children of the Force is honored in Star Wars content. Like the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, Grogu has become one of the biggest faces in all of Star Wars. But a Baby Yoda was actually first introduced 22 years ago in a lesser-known Star Wars comic. Star Wars Tales was a series that ran from 1999 to 2005, basically the entire run of the prequel trilogy. Tales focused on letting different artists and storytellers work within the Star Wars timeline. And each issue contained several short comic stories from a wide variety of authors and artists. One story, titled Children of the Force by Jason Hall and illustrated by the talented Lucas Marangon, has one familiar detail. Children of the Force was in 2002's Tales number 13 and told the story of Mace Windu fighting a bounty hunter dead set on kidnapping a baby from the Jedi Temple's nursery. The Jedi Order takes Force-sensitive children from their parents near infancy, so the temple having a nursery is a logical follow-up to that. There's a whole facility that existed specifically to take care of the many Jedi babies that lived in the temple. And among the babies present is one of a seemingly familiar species. Deep in the foreground of one page of Children of the Force, there's a small, green baby with pointed ears. This seems pretty clearly to be a member of Yoda's mysterious species, probably intended to be a fun reference to the iconic Jedi. Nonetheless, this establishes that a Baby Yoda is present at the Jedi Temple in the years leading up to the prequel trilogy, which is exactly what was established as Grogu's backstory in flashbacks seen in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. Despite this story not being canon anymore, its legacy is absolutely being honored by several pieces of canon Star Wars content. Some have suggested this infant is actually of the Lannic species, the same as even Peel, but Lannic individuals have never been seen to have green skin. Children of the Force was actually reused for an episode of Star Wars, The Clone Wars. This episode also dealt with the kidnapping of Jedi babies, but this time by Cad Bane. What are your thoughts on the story? Could this be the original idea of introducing a Baby Yoda species like Grogu? Drop a comment and give us your thoughts.